Everyone, Assalamu alaikum. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to use Flutter callback function and at the same time, how to use setState and callback function together to update the UI. Now, here I will have a class. Within the class, we'll have a callback function. The callback function will take parameter, and within the callback function, we'll have setState. The two important things about setState and callback function. Callback functions are functions that get called later certain time if things happens or certain events get triggered. And setState function is used for rebuilding the UI or your screen. So in this tutorial, we will see how to use them together. Now, once again, class A will contain callback function and callback function will contain setState. And from class A, we'll send callback function as a parameter to class B. And within class B, we'll have an onTap event. It could be onPressed event, it doesn't matter. And within it, we'll have a callback function. The callback function we send from class A to B, we'll use that callback function over here in class B within onTap function. Now, once we use it over here, we'll send a parameter, and that parameter would be sent through callback function, the function defined in class A. So here, callback function will take parameter, and once we click on this button or an event happens, it will call the body of this function, which is defined in class A. And as it takes parameter from here, so we'll use that parameter within our setState function, and then we'll rebuild the UI. So let's go ahead and get started. So now here I'll have this main function, and within main function I'll call run app, and within run app I'll create a class which is called my app, this one. And my app would be a stateful class, so we'll go ahead and create stful. It will create a stateful class for us, and we'll name it my app. Now within the app over here, instead of returning a container, we'll return a material widget or material app. So it takes home property, and home property will take scaffold. And within scaffold, we'll have app bar. So we'll call our app bar, and app bar here we'll have title for our app bar, and we'll wrap it around text widget, and here we'll name it learning Flutter, like that. And after that, we'll define the body of this scaffold. Okay, and within body we'll have column, and within column we'll have children. Okay, now one thing here, let me clarify with you. So here class A, this is my app, this class is our class A. Okay, so of course we need callback function within class A, as we can see from the diagram, and we'll do that very soon. Okay, before we go ahead, now let's define a container so that it looks good on our UI. So we'll do a container over here, and I'll be quick to do that. So here we are done with this UI. Okay, now over here I'll declare a variable, and we'll call it string type variable. The variable name is topic, and we'll initialize value for it, and for now we'll call it packages. So now what we'll do, we'll connect this text with the variable we declared. So we'll do plus topic. Okay, now here we'll see the result. Okay, so we are learning Flutter packages. All right, so that's what we have right now. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and create some buttons. To do that, we'll wrap our container. We'll create a new container and we'll wrap it around gesture detector, and it takes OnTap event and also child. So in our case, the child is a container. Okay, so here we don't want this one anymore. For example, we want a different one. We'll say getX, like that. Okay, and over here we'll have OnTap event. So once we click on this, we want to change some event or UI over here. For example, the packages. Remember, packages is a variable which is sitting inside the variable topic. So once we click on this, we want to change the variable value. So what we'll do variable equal getX. So what do we want? We want, once we click on this button, well, button is not there yet. Let's refresh it. So it is there. And one thing we could do very quickly, top, just say 20, not 50. Okay, now they are closed. So once we click on this, we want the variable to be changed over here, topic, and show the result here, getX. Let's click on this, but we don't see that. Well, but definitely it updated. Okay, but it didn't rebuild the UI. To rebuild the UI, we need to wrap it around setState. Okay, now let's refresh it. Now here we'll click get. Now here you see getX. Okay, so it means it's working. So once you have setState, it refreshes your UI, rebuild the UI. Okay, now here we'll be very quick. We'll create another one. And here, instead of calling getX, we'll say block. Okay, and I'll also create the button name as a block. But button name could be different, it doesn't really matter. Now we'll refresh it. Okay, now it started with packages with the default value over here. Now we click on getX, we see getX here. We are learning Flutter getX. Now if I click on this, we see we are learning Flutter block. So definitely we can do more than this. Anyway, so now here, this two part of this two section over here, now we can move to a different file. Okay, and once we create that file or create a class, so that class would correspond to our class B over here. Okay, and once we do that, then we'll see how to use callback. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and create class B. So let's do it over here. So I'll create a new class and I'll call it mybuttons.dart. Okay, and over here I will create a stateless class and we'll call it mybuttons. Now over here we don't need any of this. We can just copy one and delete the other because we'll be calling this class from here. Okay, and passing parameter. So here, instead of returning a container, we're returning our gesture detector, the one we created early, but we need to import some libraries. Let's go ahead and do it. And the error should be gone. And here, for now, we don't need this setState function. Okay, we'll get rid of that one. And we also need to import our material library. Okay, and the error should be gone. Now here, we don't want to use a hard-coded value. So we want to use a value that would be passed from here. Okay, so we'll create an instance of we'll call the constructor of mybuttons and we'll pass the text. All right, to do that, first let's go ahead and declare a variable over here and we'll call it final string. The variable name is topic, and over here within it we need to initialize. We do this dot topic and we need to use the required keyword. The arrow should be gone. Now this value would be passed from over here. So as it is passed, we can use it over here. So we'll use the value topic. Okay, now error should be gone. What about this OnTap? We'll take care of that very soon. So now as this is done, we can actually call mybuttons over here, and it takes a parameter, which is, well, now in this case this is an argument. Okay, so the argument, it takes an argument. So argument, say for example, here we can use qubit. Okay, there's another Flutter state management package, you know it. So let's go ahead and refresh it. Okay, now we see qubit here. So what do we want? We want to able to click on this and change the word here. We can prove that we are clicking on this. Simply we can do a print over here and say tapped. Okay, now let's refresh it. Now click on this. Now we see the word tapped. But what we want once we click on this, we want to send this text, this value, back to this button over here. Okay, while over here actually we want to send it to here. We want this value should be changed once we click on this. It should come back over here and change the value. And how can we do that? And here the callback function comes to help you. So we'll create a function and we'll call it callback. You can call it anything you want, and it'll take a variable, it'll take a parameter, and we'll call it var topic. Okay, and within var topic we will use a setState. Okay, and do you see that it takes a parameter over here? So this parameter will give it to topic variable over here. Okay, topic equal var topic. I'm sorry, var topic. Okay, so now we need to call this function. So we can call this function from here over here, but before we call it, we need to pass it. As you can see from the diagram, that we need to pass it to class B. So we can do it easily because over here we are already passing a argument. So we can create another argument property over here, and we'll call it callback, and callback function and callback. Okay, well, this property name is callback function and our actual function is this one. Okay, so now if you hover over on it, it says that add named parameter over here. Okay, so it'll do it automatically for you, but we don't want actually this format, so we can just change it. What we'll do over here this dot. Well, now before we so if you hover over on it, you'll see it says add a named parameter. So what we'll do first, here we'll create a variable, and the type is a function because we'll pass a function, and the function would be callback function. Okay, now over here we need to add it. We'll do it this dot callback function, and most probably it wants you to add the required keyword, and the error should be gone. Okay, now from here we are sending this callback function, and over here we'll receive within this value or this variable. Now within it we can use the variable, so we'll go ahead and use it, callback function. But now, as we saw early, that callback function takes a parameter, so here we'll send it as an argument. So here we'll send a topic. So this is the string value that we are receiving from the other side of this app. Now this callback function would get triggered once we tap on this button or button like this one. Okay, so now let's go ahead and restart it. Okay, hopefully it restarted. Make sure it did. Yes, it did. Now what we will do, we'll click on this. So once we click on this, what do we want? We want events to happen like this. So it will find the callback function and the parameter, and we should in return trigger the actual callback function in class A, and then it will have a UI rebuild using setState. That will happen. So let's go ahead and click on this. As you see, it changed to Flutter Qubit, but this is another file. Okay, this is another class. So using callback function, we can send a value from one class to another class. Actually, even here you can do a different one. For example, say Laravel. If you want, you don't have to send that value, you can send any value. Okay, so now I'll click over here and it will change to Laravel, but we don't want hard-coded value, we want dynamic values. So now we'll create some more buttons over here using this one. So I'll go ahead and create 2 more buttons, and over here I'll call it block, and over here we'll say get X. Now let's go ahead and run it, and we'll see our 3 buttons over here. Now if we click on this get X, say change to get X, because we are passing the callback, and callback function from here gets the value and send it back to the callback function, the body, which is defined over here, and this is wrapped within setState, so the UI get revealed immediately. Let's do it one more time so it's working perfectly. Okay, so if you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much.